Today I want to talk to you in this video about men who cheat on their wives. Whether you're a man or a woman watching me, you are very welcome. My name is Joyce Gumiero. I am a tantric therapist, and for over 10 years I have been working with tantric massage. I teach tantric massage courses. I work with men, women, and couples. And I am a relationship and sexuality coach. By the way, I'll leave the link to my courses and my social media down below. But today I'm here to talk to you, man, who loves to decorate your wife's head. And many men, right, who cheat. There are men who seem to have, how can I put this? They get a thrill out of telling everyone about it, right? As if that was something admirable. As if he were proud of what he's doing. It seems like what really excites him is when others, his friends, applaud him, saying, wow, you're amazing. You're the man. You're that typical guy who doesn't care about his wife at all. He's only married out of convenience. He cheats. He doesn't care. He comes home late. He says his wife doesn't have any libido anymore. He badmouths his wife to other women, right? He tells his mistresses that his wife has terminal cancer, that his wife has no libido, that he doesn't sleep with his wife anymore, that his wife is just awful, right? My God. And this time, wow. Guys, you have no idea how often I see this kind of man. But today I'm here precisely to talk about how the tables turn, right? Life comes full circle, people. It comes full circle. I'm going to tell you today the story of one of my clients, okay? I'm not going to say his name to protect his privacy, so as not to expose him, right? I can't even expose him, and the point of this video isn't even that I want to expose him. I want to expose the situation, you know, because I know that many couples, many people who are watching this go through the same thing. And I know that a lot of men sometimes cheat, right? Many times, right, they come to my clinic and say, Joyce, I cheat on my wife because my wife has no libido. My wife doesn't come on to me. My wife and I don't do anything anymore, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It's always a sad story, and I swear I don't understand why one person stays with another if they're living like that, you know? In this way, in all this misery. But okay, there are couples who keep going through thick and thin. And there are also a lot of men who, no matter how badly they talk about their wives, no matter how much worse they make their wives sound, they won't leave them because they feel secure next to that woman who doesn't have sex, doesn't kiss, doesn't love them, who just mistreats the poor guy. Oh, poor guys. But getting back to the point, I'm here to talk about a situation. Actually, not just one, okay? It wasn't just from one client. Over the years, I've seen this happen many times. And whenever I see a man come into the clinic and he starts to open up, to vent, to say a lot, I have to admit to you that as a therapist, I listen, right? I give some advice, I say a few things, but as a woman, I end up reflecting a lot on this kind of behavior. And I also notice that there are a lot of women who sometimes live in Alice's Wonderland, thinking their husband is a saint. I'm not here to put ideas in your heads, not at all. Especially because this video is mainly dedicated to men. So, getting back to it, there was this client, let's call him the badass husband, okay? The badass husband started coming to me for a few tantric massage sessions. Let me just have a sip of water here, hold on. So the badass husband coming in for a few tantric massage sessions, kept bad-mouthing his wife. Poor guy. I was almost starting to feel sorry for him, wanting to cradle him and help him fall asleep. And several times during the sessions I would say, but why don't you bring your wife here to get a massage with you? Never, Joyce. No way. My wife Joyce. She's a housewife. She doesn't care about any of this. Are you guys hearing a little noise, folks? It's my dog. She just wants to keep reading the video. Look, see, she stopped. And then I would say, come on, bring your wife. Who knows, maybe I can help you too. Joyce, Not my wife, Joyce. Yikes, my wife isn't that kind of woman. My wife is the serious type of woman. No. Yikes, my wife, Joyce, doesn't even give me a blowjob. It's been like years. That's why, Joyce, I cheat on her, you know? I have my needs as a man. Exactly. I have my needs. I need it, Joyce. So, I do go out. I really do cheat on women. What? Women? No, I really cheat on my wife. Because I don't want to bother her at home. My wife is frigid. My wife doesn't feel pleasure. My wife is like a refrigerator, Joyce. Sexual relations happen once every 6 months, if that. So I make do, I go out with escorts, I love it, I feel a lot of desire. But you know what, Joyce? It's complicated, right? Because I feel needy, I feel alone, and then one fine day. After so many times he came to the session and I kept telling him, bring your wife, bring your wife, bring your wife. He brought his wife, guys. My dog, I'm going to show you what she's doing. Look at this, right in the middle of the video. Oh my God, I'm trying to record. I thought she was choking and here she is making a mess. Come here, sweetie. Let's sit on mommy's lap. Hold on. So guys, one of those times, oops, she peed. One of those times he brought his wife. So I talked to his wife. Just the two of us, right? Because when there are issues at home, I like to talk to the wife first to find out what's going on, to hear her side. And then I started to see, because every story has two sides, right? That the story was very different, really, very different. I gave her a tantric massage. This woman had multiple orgasms. This woman cried from pleasure. This woman screamed. This woman looked like she was being exorcised. She cried during the massage and said, Joyce! My God, how many years has it been since I felt this? Joyce, I think I've never felt this sensation in my life. But guys, what did the so-called badass husband do? He scheduled the couple's session with her. But when he got there, he turned and said, honey, I'm going to leave you here with Joyce because I don't think it would be good for us to do the session together. You know, since you have a lot of issues and you two will probably want to talk and I have an appointment, so I can't participate. And just like that, he left. I have to admit, guys, at that moment, I was kind of disappointed because I thought, come on, he came with her and now he's going to leave his wife here and she's never had a massage before. The nice thing is for the couple to be there together, trying to rekindle things, right? Because the whole point when I asked him to bring his wife was for me to meet her, to try to help them as a couple to revive their libido, the spark of passion, to help them build more connection. And this man left, but it was actually good that he left. He ended up leaving because I ended up staying there alone with her and she opened up to me. It was a long session. And this woman, she had many orgasms. I'm sure that on that day, she really discovered herself as a woman. She cried, told me her side of the story, you know, said that he hadn't sought her out for years, said that he barely kissed her, that he only kissed her when he wanted, you know, to have sex, that he wasn't an attentive husband, that he had cheated on her several times. And that she felt like the problem was with her. She felt bad, she felt frigid, she felt like the worst woman in the world. Until she came to the massage, managed to have those incredible orgasms, and revealed to me at the end of the session that she had never felt anything like that before. She said, Joyce, I've been married to him for 18 years. This man, he never made me feel even 10% of this kind of pleasure. She said, and I'm realizing now, guys, just a minute, I'm going to have to take her out of the room because she's all excited, wanting to make a mess. Let mommy finish telling the story. I'm back, guys. And this woman opened up. I don't know, she came in one way and left completely different. Meanwhile, right, I was there analyzing, thinking, see how everything has two sides? I said, wow, this woman, guys, is full of sexual energy. She was a young woman. She was 40 years old. And she said, Joyce, I've never felt this before. I really thought all these years, these 18 years that I've been with him, that I was the problem, that I was a frigid woman with no libido, that I didn't feel pleasure, that I didn't know how, because my upbringing was very repressed. I didn't know how to touch myself. I didn't know anything. In short, after a while, this woman kept calling the clinic, wanting to schedule a session. And she asked my secretary if she could be very discreet. My secretary, as always, the wonderful Macalzinha. By the way, a kiss. Of course, I'll schedule it for you. And she said, look, can you ask Joyce not to mention anything from the first session and so on and so on? Okay. So what happened? The wife of the badass husband shows up. Remember the badass husband? The one who tried to deny that his wife was frigid? But she arrived at the session with another man who was not her husband. And who was that man? He was her co-worker. I looked at her. I thought it was strange because this woman didn't work. She was a housewife. This was already after the first session. I believe it took about 4 or 5 months for her to come back. She came back and did the session with her coworker. However, this woman, when she returned, she was a different person. Radiant, all dressed up, taking care of herself, wearing makeup. She seemed like a whole new person. So she was with her coworker, and after the session ended, she asked him to go downstairs and wait for her, and she stayed there with me for about 10 minutes talking. Joyce, after that day I came here, when I was able to have an orgasm like that, when I realized I wasn't the problem, especially since I've spent years, I've been hearing from my husband for years that the problem was me, and I decided to try new possibilities. I said, wow, but are you still married? How is that going? She said, I'm still married. But here's the thing, Joyce. I've been swallowing his cheating for 18 years. So Joyce, he better get ready, because now I'm going out. I'm going to try everything I can until I get my independence and free myself from this man. And then I said, hold on, but why? Why, right? If you're not happy, why haven't you separated already? No. Now I'm going to pay him back in the same coin. Long story short, she came. But not in the first session when she came alone with the tough guy, but in the second, she came with her coworker. In the third session, she came with her personal trainer because she had already started taking care of herself, taking care of her body. And after that, she came back with another man. So, folks, to sum up the story, the tough guy husband is now the cheated on husband, okay? I say it just like that because he cheated on his wife so many times. He devalued her so much. He exposed her. He humiliated her over and over. And his wife, when she realized that she wasn't the problem, she kept it all inside. She kept it to herself. And then she decided to show him that she could be happy too, that she could cheat too, that she was also capable of doing things. But unlike him, she didn't show anything. He didn't notice a thing. She kept being the same woman with him. And so, to sum up the story, a year later, she simply left her so-called badass husband, the cheater, the one who slept around with many, who went out with all the girls, who loved going to nightclubs, who loved certain friends, who loved to devalue his wife. A year later, this wife left this man. This man fell into a deep depression. And so, the moral of the story, if you've watched this video up to this point, if you're a man, if you're cheating on your wife, or if you're a woman cheating on your husband, how far is all of this really worth it? Is it really worth it to keep cheating? To keep being fake with yourself? Because after all, the cheater might be fooling someone else, but they're really fooling themselves. Because if he were a happy person, if he were fulfilled, if he were someone confident in himself, he wouldn't need to deceive other people. And this man, the so-called tough husband, fell into a deep depression because he never imagined that that frigid woman, that housewife who wasn't vain, would ever leave him. So, folks, this video is meant to warn those of you who sometimes act recklessly with emotional irresponsibility towards other people's feelings. So if you have a husband, if you have a wife, if you think your marriage is in crisis, that your relationship isn't going well, there are many ways, there are many means for you to seek help, so you don't have to cheat on your husband or wife and don't have to go through a situation like this. Why? She went on to live happily. She's happy, she's beautiful, she's wonderful. She has a new boyfriend, and this man is still in a deep depression. I always say that we as human beings always have two main ways of learning, either through love or through pain. So what about you? And you who are watching me, how do you prefer to learn? Through love, by trying to recover the best of what you've already experienced together in the past, to bring back the affection, the care, the connection, the intimacy, or by suffering. Because many men think that while they're cheating, that their wives aren't noticing, aren't feeling anything, but she's there, she's feeling it, she's processing it, she's, experiencing all those emotions, all that negative energy. So, I hope you've taken a deep breath, thought about it, think, right? Think calmly, reflect, and see what you really want for your life and for your relationship, okay? Does a perfect relationship exist? No, but can we be happy? Yes, we can create a lot of connection, live a life filled with love and wisdom. We really can. And if you've watched this far and want to learn more about my courses, the link is in the description. And while you're at it, go ahead and follow me on social media. Kisses, bye. I hope this touched your heart